Before I answer that legal question, sir, I want to also bring up one of the main pains of the home buyer. If you are a cash customer, only your past savings is looted, your time is gone. Time is
Yeah,
money. But
right.
the bleeding, the continuous monthly bleeding problem, one is there where 90% of the home buyers are bank loan customers. Now,
Definitely.
yeah, and their EMIs are guaranteed by the builder as a part of the subvention scheme that they will be reimbursed. Now, you take the pending EMI of the builder, an ongoing EMI, which is even for a flat band of 20-25 lakhs, the monthly outflow is 13,000. You don't
Yeah,
pay for 2 months, your CIBIL is gone down, and there are
yeah,
four goons coming to your house
yeah,
asking for the money.
yeah,
And based on the builder's promise that you will complete in 18 months, he has given a very rosy picture by saying, I will pay back that EMI. That's a pre EMI is not a big deal. Now it is 8 years. Now, what is the cost of the flat? You bought it for 20 lakhs, you paid all the pre EMI, it has become 35 lakhs. But even after 5 years, this is not sellable for 35 lakhs. And
right.
you have to continue to give this. So, this is a big game between the builders and the corrupt officials in the banking sector, and they have not done any due diligence. You simply go on dispersing money, and now the whole onus is on the home buyer. They say, we gave you the loan based on your salary certificate and credentials, not on builder's credentials. Then we say, why didn't you do according to the National Housing Board and RBI guidelines? What due diligence and governance you have done on the project? No, 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 sir, that is not our job. You have to pay the pre EMI. So this is a very, very important, painful spot where people have been rooted. They can't go to the medical hospital for serious illnesses because this 13,000, 15,000 is just swiped off every month. The
Yeah,
moment you
yeah,
don't pay, you will be debarred from all economic activity, and you will
right.
the CIBIL score will be 200, and your own bank will not even give you 5 rupees overdraft.
Yeah,
So this is a very, very dangerous problem.
yeah, definitely, sir. I think financial burden is definitely is a very very big challenge. And then people, home buyers have to, people who are looking for the first house and all, they have to pay their rent and they have to pay their EMIs both, and there is no guarantee of their house coming onto their hand. This is really pain. And as a home buyer, sir, I think you explained about your experience of supporting and then ensuring that setting up of RERA in Karnataka.
Yep.
As a home buyer, when you explain what actions you have taken to protect your interest as a home buyer, sir.
Okay, sir, that's a very good question. It's wonderful because it's always good to talk big philosophies and theories, but we have to always ask a question for ourselves with all this knowledge. Have you done anything for yourself or any of your co-home buyers in your project? That's a very wonderful question, sir. So, Greens Buyers Forum as an entity started organizing and mobilizing the Greens Buyers since 2017. From 2017 onwards, we have done till now around 4 rounds of online petitions, a little bit of digital activism. I wouldn't say too much, but a bit. But online petitions have been done. Apart from that, we have also gone and represented ourselves the year 2019, July, August, met the chairman and the board of authority. Thanks to all the efforts of the citizens and activists, finally RERA came into place as an office with some staff, with some adjudicating officer, etc. by 2000, end of 2017, 2018. That is only because of the sweat and blood of the home buyers and activists, not by
Excellent.
mercy or not by grant of any government, and not less than 50 meetings with housing department, engagement, advocacy with them had to be done to make this happen ultimately. So by 2018-19, GBF has gathered enough buyers in the project and gone with a big representation to meet the RERA chairman and the board and explained our case, and also say how there has been fund diversion, how there has been mismanagement, how the construction has been abandoned. And our builder very cleverly, he want to comply with the RERA, so he got his project registered in 2017 May. So we are
Wow.
going and meeting RERA in 2019. And
19.
we found out the promoter has submitted documents to RERA saying we are filing our application and registration in 2017. And we are going to complete the project by 2018 December. And
Interesting.
they have also declared they have already collected 214 crores for Green phase 1, 80
Mm.
crores in phase 2. Phase 2 has got only pillars till now, not even one flat has been constructed out of 648. 1248 phase 1 flats. So I would say maybe to give a benefit of doubt and be very liberal, I would say 250 flats constructed, basic, that's all. Rest
Okay.
of them glass, doors, windows, wiring, piping, over a tank. No STP, no infrastructure. So we went and told the chairman, sir, what is this, sir? This company is registered. Then we came to know that the registration is expired. And the authority had to issue a notice to this promoter by saying, your registration is expired because your committed date of delivery even RERA is expired. And so you are under inquiry. And also till today, we did not get one piece of paper from you about quarterly compliance to financial or structural audit or architecture certificate or chartered accountant certificate or balance sheet or nothing. And you have not even opened an escrow account to put 1 rupee.
And the project was started in 2017 as
13.
The project was started long back, but as per RERA record, it is 2017, and till today we don't have escrow account.
Yeah, till today means I would say these promoters got involved into some other scams and fraudulent activity under pending investigation sub judice by the crime branch of Karnataka, etc. So when all their bank accounts were seized and closed, they finally opened an escrow account in 2019, when already they have collected more than 80% of the project money in phase 1 and not deposited. Now what else will remain? Whatever the 5% collection only they can.
What is the promoter name, sir? Once again, what is the promoter?
Mr. Sanchaya Land and Estate under the brand name of India Estates.
India Estate. Okay. I think it's very important that we should know who is the promoter and which brand they are trying to sell and trying to
Absolutely. So we went and met the chairman. So then we came to know there is an ongoing inquiry by the authority for the expiry of the certificate. So then we from the Greenspire Forum went and implemented in the case by saying, whatever decisions you may take to renew the certificate will directly impact us because there is no construction last 3 years.
Correct.
Another lacuna is RERA takes all the documents from all the builders and promoters on an as-is basis without governance. RERA doesn't have internal structural chartered accountants or structural engineers, no site inspections, nothing. You say I have completed 85% means that's all. It is taken on a trust and a belief basis. It is not on a governance basis. That's one of the critical lacuna. We will come to it in the end of the show. So we went and implemented ourselves in 2019, June, July. And by October 2019, with 105 petitioners, we filed a collective case under various sections, mainly for forensic audit of the accounts, for quarterly compliances, asking stay on all registration of sale deeds and execution of sale deeds, so on and so forth. Primarily an investigative activity to investigate the finances, architecture, project status, compliances, and find the money trail. If not, it has not gone into this construction. Even according to the promoter submission, phase 1 214 has been 214 crores collected by 2017. According to the project submitted to RERA Karnataka. So in our collective case, we asked only fundamental question. If it has not yet converted into a flat, then where is this money?
Right.
So something must have happened to the money. It can't be thrown into the sea or blown away by the wind.
240
so we are asked for forensic audit.
240 crores is big money.
214 crores, phase 1. So we said, we want you to conduct a forensic audit. We want you to stay any further illegal registration. We want you to investigate the company. And without being thoroughly understanding, they are saying 90% completed in 2017. Now we are sitting in 2019 end, sir. So 10% will not take 24 months, right?
Yeah.
So that has been the contention of our RERA collective case. And of course, with due respect to be non-partisan, the RERA authority, chairman and board at that point of time, they have done a wonderful job in terms of conducting around 5 to 6 hearings. That is where disaster hit us. From March onwards, all the collective cases have been put on hold due to COVID and other force major situations. So they are right now under hold. As you know, many of the collective cases are under hold. That is one kind of initiative which we have taken, which we are waging that battle, continuing to wage.
Yeah, I think that's a very good insight about the class action suit that you have mentioned, Raghunath sir. What happened to a possession individual home buyer? Did individual home buyers also filed a separate cases in RERA for their possession, or it is only a class action suit, a collective effort of the association that you are pursuing?
Very good question, sir. So what happened was there is a bit of things which I want to reveal because it's a live show watched by many home buyers. Many of them get confused between a collective class action suit and
Yeah.
individual case.
Right.
So it took a long time for me to explain to my co-buyers and my friends in the Greens Project by saying a collective case investigates the company, establishes the fact, finds the money trail, and asks for levying of penalties on the builder or promoter for various violations under section 59, 60, 61, 64, etc. But it is on behalf of all the home buyers who have not joined the case also,
Correct.
who might have even done some illegal under construction flat registration also. This collective class action suit helps everybody. But it does not give any financial relief or charge for the individual person, because
Correct.
there is not going to be any order in the collective judgment by saying you pay Mr. Dhananjaya 5 rupees or give for 10 rupees to Raghunath ji. That's not going to say. So I had to mobilize and educate the buyers. And as of date, when I am speaking, we filed around 62 individual cases, primarily for possession with OC and CC, reimbursement of pre-EMI, payment of delay compensation from the date of default of delivery,
till that,
and restrict the builder promoter from doing illegal cancellation, doing multiple sale of the same flat. These are some of our main submissions in our ongoing RERA cases. Unfortunately, as you know, nobody can help it. It is an unfortunate situation. Though we
can understand, sir. So I understand there are 62 cases being filed. Out of these 62 cases, can you please explain? We understood the class action suit that the association is pursuing. In the interest of educating home buyers who filed RERA individual cases, so what are those stages of case filing, sir? If you can, explain with your experience, and since you work with advocacy and setting up of this RERA in Karnataka, if you can explain us, that will really benefit a lot of home buyers, sir.
Sir, a typical case in RERA involves around 4 major phases. One is pre-litigation and documentation, which must be done by the home buyer, because RERA facilitates an online complaint process owned by the stakeholder who is the home buyer. It is not always required for a home buyer to hire an attorney and advocate unless and until they are out of Bangalore. Otherwise, if you are out of Bangalore, you may have to travel for all the hearings. That is pre-COVID situation. Minimum 4 to 5 hearings will happen. You have to represent yourself personally. There is no excuse. The promoter cannot be present. But even for one hearing, the complainant is not available for hearing. His case will go for a sixer because the primary owner is not there. So I would advise all the home buyers to do the following homework. Do some pre-litigation work, which is nothing but very simple. You take a Word document and you first take an Excel document. Put down what is the amount paid by you from your own funds. If you are a bank loan customer, what are all the payments made according to the dates, etc. By which bank, which check, what date it has been released, for what purpose. There will be slab 1, slab 2. So you arrive at a net principal. If you are not a bank customer, you put in all the payments you have done on all the dates and times and years. Then you will get a total which is called principal invested.
Principal investment.
Then you will have an agreement for sale, whatever, however diluted or outdated it may be, not in alliance with the published, Gazette published, RERA published AFS, old AFS agreement for sale. There you will be having a total consideration value of the flat, which has got 2 components. You got a construction cost, then you have got a landed cost. Both of them put together is called the total consideration value. You put that value in the same Excel, then you minus what you invested till today from the total consideration value. That tells you what is due to be paid by you to the builder, and also tells you what is the percentage of money you invested vis-a-vis the sale value. Then you come to the next clause where you put, if you are a bank customer, all the pre-EMIs you have paid and whatever pre-EMI given by the builder, and then what is balance due to you today. Then the next exercise, if you are going for not an exit option, but you want to stay in the flat, you want to take a possession legally, you put a delay compensation. It is generally SBI lending rate, prime lending rate plus 2%. But for practical purposes, you do a total sum invested from the date of default, put a 10% simple interest, and also
Right.
calculate 10% compound interest. This is
Right.
the basic financial grain of truth you must have in your hand.
Right. Right.
Secondly, with this grain of truth in your hand, take a Word document or go and download a Form O from the RERA authority and go and fill up your story. Dear sir, I am a plus guy. I went and purchased this fund. I booked on so and so date. I paid that booking amount so much. Then all the other stories, whatever happened.
Yeah.
And then what are all the problems you are facing from the builder? So
Right.
you make these two things, which are the two takeaway things as a pre-litigation documentation. Apart
Right.
from this, I would advise a home buyers to keep this checklist of things with them ready, which is
Right.
a scanned soft copy of their agreement for sale, their
Mhm.
construction agreement, their payment receipts, account statement if any receipts from the builder promoter, account statement from the bank if you are a loan customer,
Mhm.
and any significant emails where you might get possession emails every 6 months or 3 months from the builder. The flat is ready, you have to come immediately, but nothing is there. So all those significant emails or any fraudulent activity where they said, if you don't pay tomorrow, I will be illegally cancelling your flat, which is contravention to the act and rules of RERA. Those emails, all of them, put it in a folder. Once you are done with this, then all you have to do is take your Word document and put it into
Submit.
the Form O, and then put what the relief you are seeking for, which will be primarily only for 5 things.
Correct.
Reimbursement of your pre-EMI with or without interest, delay compensation, SBI PLR, maybe 10%, 12%, depending on SBI PLR lending rate for the financial year. It keeps changing. Then you are going to ask OC and CC.
Yeah.
Flat possession is OC and CC with all legal formalities. You are going to ask for association of allottees, which
Yeah.
is guaranteed under the RERA Act and rules. It is the
Correct.
duty of promoter to do it. Then you
Right.
also figure out the mechanism. How are they going to transfer all the title of property under section 17? Because in
Mhm.
my project, for example, 17.5 acres, simply you give the flat and give on kata. How does it work?
Mm.
Unless we own the land and all the assets and all the transformer and all the bulbs and tubes and wires, it is
Right.
an unrunnable situation.
Right.
So this is what I would say an individual home buyer to do. In our 62 cases, we pretty much did this, because unfortunately in our project, 90% of the buyers are outside Bangalore. So we had to hire an attorney, because
Attorney.
the cost of them coming down from Mumbai, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana 4-5 times would have been too costly for them. So we had an attorney. Based on these principles of what we want, we are clear what we want to ask already before even contacting the attorney.
Right. Right.
So this is the basis. We optimize the whole process of filing cases.
Yeah. After you file the case, what happens, sir? In RERA,
Sir,
will file a case.
Very good question, sir.
They will collect all the documents. They know that they did not get their home on time. They want to file a case in RERA, so they gathered the documents. They filed a complaint in RERA by visiting the RERA portal. But what happens next?
What happens next? Very interesting question, sir, because luckily I have been fortunate enough to represent my greens buyers on behalf of them in very many cases in 2018, pre-COVID situation where everything was physical hearing. To my utter dismay, what happens is in RERA, now we will not talk about whether they pass judgment. Now after anybody passes the judgment, what happens? So in 2018, they had not come out with any standard operating procedures for recovery or execution. So they will give an order by saying within 60 days, A, B, C, D has to be done by the builder, this much money has to be refunded, or this delay compensation. Okay. After that, nothing will be happening.
Correct.
Absolutely nothing will happen. And nobody got any clarity about what happens. Okay. Now we got the clarity after undergoing all the struggles. What happens is, take this order, 60 days time given to builder, they don't really care to respond. In my promoter is very peculiar. There are several district court judgments also. There are several RERA case judgments already delivered. And they don't care about any court or any judgment. So in such a situation, RERA takes this order and sends it to the deputy commissioner, who is a revenue authority.
Interesting.
So when it goes to the revenue authority, what are they supposed to do? They are supposed to use the revenue inspector, summon the promoter or builder 2-3 times, and then go and find out what are the assets he may be having.
Okay.
And identify the assets. And once you have identified the assets, by government notification, they have to auction the assets.
Mhm.
Then if there are buyers for that asset, then they will get some money.
Okay.
Ultimately, if they get the money, then it will go to the Karnataka treasury and then it will come to Karnataka RERA and then the buyer will get refunded. The issue here is
Excellent procedure. Excellent procedure by the government.
I would like
That means
to.
no home. That means no home buyer will get their money.
The problem is I would want to take it more constitutionally rather than hilariously.
Mm.
Land revenue is a state subject. And
Correct.
now if you go to any deputy commissioner's office, there are, unfortunate to say, big corporates have encroached the lakes. Big builders have eaten up all the government Gomala and Gairana lands.
Mm.
So that deputy commissioner is sitting with piles and piles of files which contains recovery of 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 crores. You know very well, Bangalore, they've already vanished 800 lakes in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So all that is encroachment. So all those things, the government only finds the case on itself to go and recover all this land. Gomala, Gairana, lake land,
Right,
lake
right.
bed,
But what do we do, sir?
waterfront,
Yeah.
NGT.
See, we know the system is not, we know what is happening in
So
Bangalore.
this is very important, sir. This is, I wanted to give an opinion here.
Yeah.
Because our government is comprising of three main branches. One is your legislative, other one
Correct.
is your executive, another one is your judiciary.
Correct.
They are all independent branches. There is
Mm.
nobody, not even a prime minister can telephone one IAS officer and say, hello, tomorrow morning I want you to clear that file. He is going to say, I work by service rules. Sir, I am not working for Prime Minister of India. I am working according to the IAS or KAS guidelines. I will do when it is possible. I got a lot of work to do.
Mm.
So typically, because we have gone, we walk the talk and talk the walk. I have personally gone 6 times, 8 times to the DC office, then help them with the file. Then finally, revenue inspector goes to the builder. Nahi saab nahi hai, la urg hogbitidare. Aur barode foreign nellidare. Aur barala. Like that, poor, I would sympathize with them because I was in their position long ago in the government of India. So this revenue inspector go back and forth and come with empty hands to the deputy commissioner. Then deputy commissioner, why are you wasting your time for this 4 lakhs and 5 lakhs? Yeah, we got some. What about that Ebal Lake? What happened? What are you doing about it? Why are you going and harassing industrialists and all? They're all flat here. This is okay. I will sympathize.
Sir, just wanted to put a pause over there, sir. We understand that, okay, whether we like it or don't like it, there is something else, other than these, the pillars which is operating in all over the world, as everybody knows it. Can we control this? We don't know, but at least from the home buyer's point of it, right? So we get a home buy order in RERA, right? Okay, 12% or 10% or whatever is the percentage compensation with possession, right? So then he will, the notice will be issued to revenue department to recovery of the asset. Suppose, let's say, we are all from the IT world, right? So let's put an if and else statement. If the builder comes to an agreement and then makes some settlement, some cases I heard through my connects saying that, some builders will settle it out once the order is being passed, right? Because they don't want to get their names defamed or whatever is the case. But there are people who, don't care because they know how to deal with the system. So after getting an order, if the builder doesn't come and settles the money, then what is the option available with the home buyer as a next step? You have an order of RERA in hand and revenue department is not doing their job, right? So what is the next option available to a home buyer?
Okay. So very reputed buyers who are still having interest in the real estate with some ongoing projects which are crores of rupees worth, they may have that name and shame kind of thing, so they may want to settle. But if you look at the real estate sector in Bangalore, I can honestly say more than 60% of them are more or less like some SME sector.
Right.
Not all of them are Godrej, or not all of them are Tata Homes or Piramal's or Adani's and all those things. They're all there, but they're all very, very high end. But the common middle class buyer who buys a 25 lakhs, 35 lakhs building will be so many kind of builders, Radhakrishna Builders, Krishnaswamy Associates. Those will be the kind of promoters who are unknown and they come and enter the field. Those kind of people, they never have a name to get spoiled. What is there to spoil more than what is already spoiled?
Right.
So they won't
So just,
comply with.
yeah, completely understand, sir. Just in the interest of everybody's time. So what I wanted to do is just give a glimpse of RERA website
Mhm.
in terms of where they can find out, home buyers can find out, in terms of what are the builders that they are, you can, if you look at this rera.karnataka.gov.in, and you can have a Kannada version or an English version, somebody don't understand Kannada. And if you go to complaint section, you can see the project wise complaint report. This will give you insight about who are the builders, which is the project. And based on that, if you look at this, 5,210 cases as of today has been listed as a total complaints filed against these projects, which is Skylar Kithika, and then GM, and then Parkwim, Greens Phase 1, Unishare, Mantri Web City, SJR, Shriram, Unishare Wave, and etc. etc. Mantri Serenity, and then Purva West End, Blue Waters, High Life Greens, Mantri Manyata Energia, Mantri Manyata Lithos, and all these places, Mantri Serenity, Nitesh, Pebblebog, Hoysal IS, Ashwini, Ozone Urbana, Nitesh Cap, Supradeep Kikasa, etc., etc. All these home are the projected complaint list. What you see, anybody can come and see before they make any investment, and at least home buyers will be saved in terms of their current investment. At least those who already invested, they can at least find out who are those builders who are actually cheating the home buyers, who are not delivering on time. Usually home buyers don't have what do you say, that okay, don't have time to do all these legal aspects, right? But they definitely have a time to investigate and do a Google around, do a research, and go to RERA website, because RERA permission is one of the important aspects that anybody can take. They can look into it and then do some justice, right? So, sir, one important aspect, sir, sorry to intervene, and then once you get an order, and then a builder doesn't come on the board, and then they're not doing their job, and builder is not interested to settle it out even after getting a RERA order. So what the home buyers can do next? Can home buyers go ahead and file an FIR against the builder, and also file a petition against the revenue officers who are not doing their job? Is that possible under RERA provisions?
Okay. Before I answer that question, I also want to highlight here what has been done. I will talk in a non-partisan manner, because everybody may be, a campaign mode, Jindabad kind of thing. I want to take things in a more cooler way, because we have continuously, from the day one, we have continuously engaged with RERA K,
Okay.
RERA Karnataka and Housing Department.
Excellent.
Not like a hartal wala or something like that. Every
Excellent.
day thinking newer and new ways how we
Ways
can
of solving.
provide more education. We tell
Excellent.
them, sir, you have to put a standard operating procedure, sir. Simple
Correct.
question, the order has come. The home buyer don't know what to do. 60 days is over. Then nobody knows what to do. So finally, based on our persuasion, based on our consultation, they finally in October 2020, they come out with a standard operating procedure for recovery in RERA Karnataka. That took around 1.5 years of time to make it happen from RERA Karnataka by saying, sir, this is a stakeholder, you don't know what to do. They don't know what you are doing. They don't know what they are supposed to do. So they have finally come out with a SOP, which is post order. You have to do 3 things. One is you must apply for a certified copy of the order. Okay. Because whatever order you are seeing online is not official copy.
Not official.
So you have to apply for a certified copy of your judgment. Secondly, you must apply for the recovery certificate.
Okay. What do you mean by that, recovery certificate?
Recovery certificate is the certificate which tells what is the amount due to you, which is the file which will go to the Deputy Commissioner's office.
Who will give this recovery certificate?
RERA Karnataka will give.
RERA Karnataka will give.
Okay. Based on your judgment.
Okay. And
third one is you must
any timeline, sir? Any timeline set?
This post judgment, these are all now based on all our portal suggestions, G2C, government to consumer. These facilities are enabled online for registered complainant. After the judgment, you can go and apply for a certificate copy after paying the due fees. Apply for the recovery certificate after paying the due fees. You can apply for the execution of this judgment.
Okay, sir. Let me take one step by step. So we need to get a certificate of order.
Certified copy of the order.
Certified copy of the order. Second one, in recovery certificate need to be taken. And to
Thirdly, you must
any
file an
timeline.
execution petition with
Execution
the same RERA authority.
Execution petition. Okay. So for getting these two certificates, what you have mentioned, any timeline from the day you put a requisition or a request in portal by RERA authorities?
I would normally think, I am talking about normal times. In COVID times, things may be slightly delayed, which is understandable. But these are doable within a 2-3 weeks timeline, maximum
2-3
of 4 weeks.
But is there, you mentioned that there is a standard operating procedure that's been drafted, right? So in standard operating,
they have not provided that is standard operating procedure, but that is not service level agreement.
Oh, okay.
They are two different things, sir.
Got it.
But anyway, to be fair enough, I can say these are all not very complicated. But what is complicated is after you finish all this process, your bundle of file will be going to the Deputy Commissioner office. And it will be sitting there for months, years, hours, or decades. We don't know. Because it is the executive branch. He is a busy gentleman. He is after all a collector. He is after all a KIS or IAS cadre. And he got a recovery of 1 lakh crores or something if you take Bangalore. So, if you want the judiciary to be answerable to you, here I want to bring one very important point. Compared to Karnataka, there are some northern states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, where the State Land Revenue Act or the Land Act provides for imprisonment for non-compliance with an order. See, because your RERA order goes to the DC as arrears of land revenue. That is the clause under which it goes to from RERA to the Deputy Commissioner.
Okay, but there is no imprisonment in that, sir? There is no imprisonment clause within that?
That's what I am trying to explain to you. Because land is a state subject. Right?
Okay.
In the Karnataka State Land Revenue Act or the Land Act, there is no such thing for violating the land arrears due. If you don't pay, nothing is going to happen. But whereas in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, because these are all laws done during the British Raj. So in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, curiously, those state land acts have got procedures for imprisonment of the person for disobeying land recovery arrears due.
Excellent.
So this is some of the points as the best practices we highlighted to RERA Karnataka and also the housing department by saying this is where things are becoming effective somewhere. Correct. And things are failing here because your land act is like that. It does not provide, if you don't pay land arrears, it does not automatically lead to imprisonment. Whereas in Uttar Pradesh or Noida, it will directly lead to imprisonment. So the Deputy Commissioner is empowered. Hey, who is that guy, man? Yarappa, he is not obeying the orders. Huh? Just ask him to go inside, that's all. Then immediately the builder or promoter will come running. But here, when it goes to Deputy Commissioner, land arrears due. That means the government is demanding the land arrears from the builder or promoter. But it does not have serious consequence of imprisonment. Then when you don't have any punishment, who will comply? They won't care. They will ask the revenue inspector, please get out. They have gone to foreign. They will come after 6 months only. I think that is why you are seeing in the newspaper a lot of times arrested for this, that. So this is RERA is one line of action. The other line of action where in any project you come across fraudulent activity, which is actually 6 years taking your money, not delivering flat, is nothing but cheating and fraud. Violative of all norms and conditions, the entire act rules, and also violative of their one-sided agreement which they have only written. So in such a cases, if the sufficient number of buyers are there, they are always welcome and go and file a police complaint on charges of cheating or fraud or whatever they feel like. But I am still taking the soft path by saying, okay, reasonable builder, maybe he got some problem, use this RERA tool so that he will come to the negotiating table. But they neither come to the negotiation table during the case, they don't care to appear, and after the judgment, they don't care to comply. Then it goes to the DC office. The Land Act in Karnataka doesn't have penal provisions for violating land revenue arrears. Otherwise, in Uttar Pradesh, a Deputy Commissioner is there. He will send someone number 1, someone number 2, someone number 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Then
Then
automatically it becomes a matter under the judicial magistrate. So
Right.
DC office very easy. He will say, write a memo to the judicial magistrate. Dear sir, please note, so and so ABCD promoters land arrears due from hundreds of buyers is around 25 crores. He is not complying with that. These are the proof of the summons sent to him, not responding. Please take appropriate action. Means the law and order will kick in. Whereas here in Karnataka or some other southern states, we have to take a separate legal track of police action, criminal case, etc.
Very, very interesting point, Raghu sir, you're bringing onto the table. Something working in North India, whereas in some few parts of states in North India, whereas, it is literally failing because of the state subject, which is the land bill. I think if we, I think it's very important that, some of these panel discussions, some of these expert advisory discussions will lead to a lot of other aspects. I think many government officials and IAS officers or maybe the political leaders know about some of these aspects. And the big question arises on everybody's mind, home buyers especially, if we don't fix the root cause, how home buyers will get a justice? I think Raghu sir is bringing a very important aspects of Karnataka land bill. If you fix that, automatically RERA execution will also be fixed. That is exactly what Raghu sir's discussion that is coming out. It's very important that we explore some of these options and people know. And I'm sure a lot of activists, a lot of advocates, a lot of bureaucrats, a lot of political leaders may be watching or will watch this video in the future. Please understand what the pains of home buyers and see how can we get a solution at a root cause level, or what we call it as a grassroots level, that will fix the larger issues. I think very good point, sir. I think if you can also highlight, since you have underwent a lot of your experience and expertise working with RERA authorities in setting up of RERA functions for Karnataka, and also suggesting and having multiple meetings and discussions with chairmans and secretaries. What do you think that good in RERA? Just summarizing it, sir. I know you already explained a lot of things. Just to summarize, what are the things that is good in RERA? What is bad in RERA? What can we improve? And what is not defined in RERA? I think you already highlighted that. If you want to summarize in the interest of everyone at the end of the session, those who are not watched last 1 hour discussion with you, how do you want to narrate these 4 points? What is good in RERA? What is bad in RERA? What can be improved in RERA? And what is not provisioned in RERA? Some of the things that you highlighted already. If you can summarize those points, I think that with that note, we will conclude the session. It's already took more of your time. And I really appreciate taking more time into this. Probably
it's always a pleasure
this,
to meet you co-home buyers and talk to them in this busy digital age.